Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Hook. My name is Jeff Lowe, along with my co-host, Mr.
Keith Butler.
And we are coming from you straight from the Detroit golf course and the 6-hole studio. And man, what a lovely day in the city of Detroit. The bikers are out, the golfers are out, people are out. They're checking out the city of Detroit. They're enjoying this lovely weather. This is my favorite time of year.
It's a great time, Jeff. You know, it's beautiful. The golfers are out. You know, they're having a good time on the golf course. I wish I could get out there, but I can't play golf to save my life. So.
I wish I could get out there too, but I got a bad back, a bad neck, a bad eye. My golf balls go to the right and to the left. I wouldn't handle it. I couldn't be able to golf out on this course.
Yeah,
I'd be looking for my golf balls everywhere.
Yeah, but you know what, Jeff? We've got a really big it's becoming a very important holiday or day for Black Americans. And it's not a new holiday, but it's not an old holiday, I won't say. And it's called Juneteenth.
Right.
And to speak of that, who do we have?
We have Sherea Ayers. She is putting on a event, and I'd like to welcome Sherea Ayers to the show. Sherea, welcome to the show. How
Thanks
are
for
you?
having me.
Right.
I'm good. How are you?
Great. Hey, Sherea is a friend of my daughter's.
Okay.
And now this Juneteenth event that is taking place. Now, Juneteenth is a special kind of holiday. I wouldn't even say special because, you know, the things I've read about Juneteenth, I didn't like. I'm like, hey, wait a minute.
It's based on, you know, the emancipation.
Yeah, but they didn't let us know we were free till...
Well, 5 months later.
5 months later. Oh, you're free.
No, but that was in Galveston. Cherie, can you explain a little bit about
explain that to us.
So it wasn't just 5 months. It was actually almost 2.5 years later.
What?
Whoa, I was way off base.
Yeah, you off. Yeah.
But the thing was, honestly, when you read the Emancipation Proclamation, it wasn't logistically sound anyways. Like, it freed the enslaved and the rebellious states, but the way that they were supposed to receive the message, considering that the majority of enslaved people were illiterate and possibly faking it if they could read or write, because then they'd be killed if they were considered a learned Negro, as they used to say. But they were supposed to get the word of their freedom from Union soldiers. But the whole thing is, if Union soldiers are fighting in the war, when are they going to have time to go to various plantations to free the enslaved? Mm-hmm. So when the message got out there about the Emancipation Proclamation, it was technically a war tactic to free the enslaved from the rebellious states so that they could essentially join the Union Army and cause chaos in the South.
Oh, so it wasn't so much about their freedom. They're just trying to get some more soldiers for the most part.
Pretty much. I mean, you know, because you got to think the Emancipation Proclamation, as I said, freed the slaves in the rebellious states. And that's why we had states like, for instance, West Virginia. They were a part of the Union, but they still also had enslaved people. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't until the 13th Amendment in 1865 when that got passed and technically ended enslavement throughout all of the United States, not just the rebellious states. But we celebrate Juneteenth because it acknowledges the date, which is June 19th, when the enslaved in Galveston, Texas, got the message that they were free. And that was about 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation.
Wow. So the official end of slavery was June 19th.
Yes.
So Abraham Lincoln is what?
He didn't free the slaves.
I mean, in a halfway, yes.
He did,
but
in the halfway. Okay.
Well, he was
so I would say partially. Okay. Yes, partially he did, because he was the president in office
He drew up
that,
the Emancipation.
right, proclamation.
Mm-hmm.
But again, as I said, like, there were still slave states that were part of the Union. So
Gotcha.
it was more so of a war tactic, as opposed to a a plea for human decency. Like, unfortunately, when it comes to the history in America, a lot of things have been based around economics and not so much people.
Mm-hmm.
So, so again, I'm not going to take that away from Abraham Lincoln as a president, because he also did a number of things, like be the last casualty of the war and try to move America in a different direction. But I'm not going to take away anything from his presidency, but technically the Emancipation Proclamation did not free all of the enslaved. The 13th Amendment did.
So you said something about, what was it, the rebellious states. Talk a little bit about those and explain what they were, and maybe let us know some of the states that were the rebellious states.
So the rebellious states were pretty much the states of the South, like any Confederate state.
Mm-hmm.
So that includes like like the Carolinas, like Alabama. So various states that were to the South, they were part of the Confederacy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
South of the Mason-Dixon line, basically, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Okay.
Okay, so why should we celebrate Juneteenth then? Why should that be special for us?
So I think that it should be special for us, because it's an acknowledgement of our freedom. Mm-hmm. And when I say freedom, just in the sense that we have, as a people, have had to create freedom for us in so many different ways. So even with the enslaved people receiving the message in Galveston about being free, quite a few people, as well as like notable pastors like Richard Allen, brought their money together to buy land in Houston to create Emancipation Park. Mm-hmm. And you have to think, at the time, we still also had Jim Crow right after enslavement. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't anywhere like public parks that were for African American people. So they put their money together, bought Emancipation Park, and that became a place to celebrate Jubilee Freedom Day. And so when you think about the story of Juneteenth, it is about freedom and not so much, in my opinion, about enslavement. Like, even though that's the basis of the holiday, it's about what people did once they received the message that they were free. And based on several accounts that I've read from first and secondhand sources, like, African Americans were self-liberating for years prior to the Emancipation Proclamation. So they were freeing themselves en masse by running away or, you name it, and fleeing north. So the whole thing is that when you think about freedom and people coming together and putting their money together to build community, and we have defined freedom for ourselves in so many different ways, that it's just worth acknowledging, in my opinion. And also, like, it all started for me when I was out with my sister. At a time, unfortunately, when my dad was dying, we went out to kind of get a reprieve and celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Mm-hmm. And here we were out seeing all of these African Americans wearing green and turning up and drinking. And I'm like on my soapbox about how, like, they don't even know the history of St. Patrick, let alone their own history. And I was telling my sister, like, we need to do something about it. This is crazy. She was like, what are you going to do? And so she simply posed the question to me, like, what are you going to do? And so it resonated with me. And with that being March, I was just thinking, like, what is something I could do to help shift, or at least do something to celebrate our culture? Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, well, Juneteenth, let's do something for Juneteenth. And so from there, the first year in 2019 when we did a celebration, I reached out to the right museum, and they were receptive to me and the idea. And then I put the call out on Facebook, and we had about 20 people show up to be part of the committee. So that's pretty much how it started for me here in the city. And on top of that, considering that Detroit is still 80% or a little bit more African American, like there needs to be things for us to acknowledge our own culture as well, because we celebrate, as I said, St. Patrick's Day, opening day, Cinco de Mayo,
everything else.
And I want to applaud you for that.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about some of the events that would be taking place during the celebration of Juneteenth.
So this year we're going to do a Juneteenth Freedom Weekend. So it will be Friday, June 17th to Sunday, June 19th. And Friday is going to be a block party at the Eastern Market Brewing Company. And we're also going to have a signature ale available called Jubilee Gold, which is going to acknowledge one of the African American visual artists that will be at the block party. But there is going to be visual and musical artists at Eastern Market Brewing Company, as well as a live podcast with the Brews Brothers, which is a Black brewing podcast. And they talk about beer and things. So I thought that was pretty cool. So Friday is just going to be a celebration of the arts and a way to kick off the Freedom Weekend. Saturday, we're going to be on Livernois, the historic avenue of fashion. So between like Margarita and 8 Mile, we have over 50 businesses that have agreed to either give a discount, a giveaway, or provide some form of entertainment to celebrate financial freedom and Black businesses. And we're also going to have a plethora of activities. So WJZD is going to be out there. We're going to have a main stage with music. We're also going to have a kids village, a live podcast as well on Livernois, and a health and wellness fair. So we're going to have mobile screening units, and we're going to have local mental health professionals giving out information. We're also going to be giving patrons little bags, like commemorative bags, so that they can shop. And it will have promotional information and resources in there as well. So everything, it'll be a plethora of different things happening on Livernois on that Saturday, June the 18th. And then Sunday, June 19th, we're going to have a Freedom Festival at Shed 5. And that's in collaboration with Detroit chapter, NAACP, the Charles H. Wright, Metro Detroit Black Business Alliance, as well as the City of Detroit and the Eastern Market, I think it's Conservancy. So it's about, and Juneteenth Jubilee, of course, but Juneteenth Jubilee Detroit will be partnering with 5 different other organizations to put on the Freedom Festival. And that's going to be a family-friendly event that will include a number of things as well. Like vendors, and we'll have vendors also on Saturday. So it'll be a marketplace for people who don't have brick and mortar. But anywho, vendors and an adult area, a kid zone. So similar to Saturday, but the goal Saturday is to promote economic nationalism, and the goal Sunday is to be about families, because that's also Father's Day. So Juneteenth falls on Father's Day this year.
Wow. When do you have time to go to work? I'm sitting here listening here with my mouth open like, holy cow. So, I mean, if somebody wants to participate in it, I guess it's too late now because, we're right at the beginning of June. But I suspect that you're going to continue to do this in the years to come. So for people who want to get involved in it in the future, how can they get in touch with you? A phone number, email, website, whatever?
Well, they can follow the Juneteenth Jubilee Detroit page on Facebook and Instagram, because if you leave a message there, I will get it, or someone on the committee will receive it. So they can follow Juneteenth Jubilee Detroit on Facebook and Instagram. And they can also go to our website, which is BIT, so that's B as in boy, I as in igloo, T as in Thomas, bit.ly, and that's L as in Larry, Y as in Yacht, /Jubilee with a capital J, so JUBILEE,
Mhm.
and then that's DET, all capital with the DET.
Now,
So like short for Detroit.
is it too late to get involved in it for this year, or can they still get involved this year?
It depends on what capacity. So it's never too late to come out, of course, and
Mhm.
indulge in all of the festivities. But what we do, it depends on the capacity. Like I said, that's basically it, because we always need people to help promote. We always need people to come out and attend. We need volunteers. And we also, like, there is room for promotions and the little swag bags that we'll be handing out. So if it's someone with a business or anything that we can promote, will go into the bag. So no, it's not too late, but it's in limited capacity.
So now, I didn't catch you at the beginning. Is this the first one, or have you?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So
No,
I've
so this will
mentioned
actually
before.
be our fourth celebration as a committee.
Wow. Okay.
So in 2019, we partnered with the Charles H. Wright, and we did a pretty much like a program indoors and outdoors, as well as an afterglow for Juneteenth there. So it was kind of like a mini festival at the Charles H. Wright.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2020, we, because of the pandemic, we did Juneteenth Jubilee Live. So we basically put on like a show online on Facebook and Instagram Live that included speakers and artists, like musical performers. It's like Ari Lane, and we had Jay Brown there, and we also had like a dancer come out and she did a piece. So it was like a whole production. And then in 2021, we were on Livernois last year due to just, again, trying to do something COVID safe, but would also be outside to a degree. So that's when we took it to Livernois. And also, during the pandemic, I had read about a group of women that inspired me to move it from our regular type of program to Livernois. And these ladies, they were a part of the Housewives League of Detroit. And they had 3 goals, and that was to buy Black products, support Black businesses, and patronize Black professionals. And they came about in the 1930s, which was the worst time in our history economically for our country. And what they did was go to local stores and merchants to see if they met those criteria. If they didn't, they put them on a no-shop list. So 50 women from Detroit expanded to 10,000 in various African-American cities in the Midwest. And they secured 75,000 jobs for African-Americans during the 1930s. And so I was like, if these ladies were able to do that from the same city I live in the 1930s, what are we doing to support Black businesses and Black economics and collective economics now with more resources? And so, again, I presented it to the committee in 2021, and they received it. And so we took it to Livernois, pitched it to the Motor City Business Roundtable, as well as the Avenue of Fashion Business Association, and they were for it. And 2021 was our first year doing the stroll on Livernois. So this will be our second year on Livernois, our first year doing a full weekend, but our 4th year as a committee doing an event.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yes.
That's wonderful. And I was just thinking of how you said you were impressed and encouraged by these 50 women back in the 30s. I dare say that there are going to be a lot of young ladies who are going to be very impressed and encouraged and look at you as a role model. Because, I mean, I'm just set back. I'm amazed with you. And
Thank you.
No, you never say thank you for the truth. That's what I always say. And I'm not being nice. I mean, I'm really listening to you. It's just been mind blowing, and listening to all the work that you and your committee have put into this, just from an ideal coming from another celebration that's
Right.
altogether separate from what we are. And you just took it upon yourself to say, hey, we're out here partying with them. Why can't we party and celebrate our own greatness? And we need more people like that, like you and your sister and these committees, to get out and do that kind of stuff. And I'm glad that Jeff's daughter was able to find you and let us connect because you have given us a lot of information. Um,
Thank
Let me ask you: is there anything at the Charles Wright Museum that's like a permanent display of Juneteenth, or have you thought about getting that down there? Something that's just there, that's always going to be there.
Well, they are still. I mean, they still do programming, and like I said, they're partnering. But like a permanent display there, I'm not for certain if they have anything permanent. Um, but I'm sure they're working on it, or I'm not sure. But
Is that something you'd like to see? I think it would be,
I think it would be dope as well. But it's just a matter of what their organization is willing to do and what that will look like. So I've worked with Mama Jatu and Yolanda Jack at the Charles H. Wright as well as Foxworth. So the three of them have been pretty receptive. Oh, and Carol too. But four of them have been pretty receptive, but it's still a lot of different people that they have to answer to before
right.
they can just say yay or nay to anything that I propose, you know? So I have to just respect that there are levels to various things, but I do think that's a great idea.
So, as knowing that this is a relatively, I guess not young, but it's a Black holiday. Has it become national yet? And if not, what can be done to make it a national holiday?
It has. It became a federal holiday last year in 2021.
Yes.
And, and I think that's why a lot of people still wanted to celebrate and come out last year. So it is becoming a thing more so. But it was already a state recognized holiday in 47 different states.
Okay.
So, and Michigan was one of them already. So we had already acknowledged Juneteenth here. And there have been like other organizations like the Juneteenth Michigan chapter who does a annual golf outing for Juneteenth, as well as Juneteenth Detroit, who have been celebrating and doing things all along. So, it has been recognized here, but Juneteenth Jubilee Detroit have just been trying to push it on a more citywide scale, and that's what our goal is, to increase the awareness and celebration of the holiday in a predominantly Black city. But also, it's inclusive and open to everyone, because we know that it wasn't just one race or nationality of people, because race is socially constructed, like a socially constructed concept. But anywho, it wasn't just one group of people that helped in regards to alleviating some of the oppression in America. So it is an inclusive celebration for everyone.
Okay, Miss Ayers, you are stunningly fabulous. If I can ask without getting too personal, how old are you?
36.
Now, I asked you that because we tend to think that you have to be 70, 60, 50, We think you have to be wealthy. We think you have to be powerful. You have to know people to get things done. And I just want our listeners to realize and hear and know that there's a young lady under 40, and she started this 4 years ago, so that means she was 32 when she got it going. You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait till you're 50. You don't have to wait till you're, to become a mover and shaker or to work with mover and shakers. You become a mover and shaker at any age. And this young lady here, Miss Ayers, you have just proved that all it takes is will, desire, to make things go. My dad told me the secrets to success, the ingredients to success, was 5% knowledge, 10% skill, and 85% perspiration. And then what that meant is that you don't need to know it that much. You don't need to know that much. You don't need to be able to do it. You just have to work hard at it. And you have worked very, very hard to get this up and running. And I can't tell you how much it's appreciated by this young man, because with this old guy.
Yeah, I was about to say
I'm about
this.
twice your age, Jeff and I have done a tenth of what you have done already in my life. But for you to get up and do this,
But
it's
you just
impressive.
inspired him to get out and do more.
Yeah,
You just inspired him to do
yeah.
that.
And the crazy thing is, Jeff and I have a lot of questions. We have a little bit of banter back, but we've both been quiet, just listening to what you've been putting down, and it's just been fabulous.
Yes.
You know, it's just been
I
fabulous.
appreciate that.
Oh no, we appreciate you taking the time.
Oh, yeah.
If there's anything else you'd like to add.
Again, I'd love for you all and the listeners to come out and celebrate Juneteenth with us, the 17th through the 19th, at least one of the days, and to follow our pages on Juneteenth Jubilee Detroit on Facebook or Instagram. But also just, I can't lie, like the doors that have opened and the opportunities that have come from just an idea and the support of my family and friends and just the blessings. It's really humbling, and I just appreciate even the opportunity to be on the show. So thank you all for inviting me.
Well, thanks for taking the time. But before we let you go, everything has colors or flag. Does Juneteenth have colors? Does it have a flag or emblem, symbols, anything like that?
So the Juneteenth flag actually is red, white, and blue, and it has one star on there with the outline of it as well. So that's the official Juneteenth flag because it signifies like being American and also like the origin of the holiday being in the Lone Star State. Mm-hmm. So that's the combination of it. Nonetheless, like it's also an African American heritage flag that's black, red, and it has a gold sword and other emblems on there. But for Juneteenth Jubilee Detroit, our primary colors are basically red, white, blue, and gold. Mm-hmm. And of course, we have red. It's a lot of red foods that are associated with Juneteenth, or red drinks to signify the bloodshed of the people. Mm-hmm. So, like, a lot of people tend to drink hibiscus tea or drink, or eat barbecue or eat red velvet cake. So it's a lot of things red that are associated, or food rather, a lot of red foods and drinks that are associated with the holiday. There is a Juneteenth flag. And then for Juneteenth Jubilee Detroit, of course, our colors are inclusive of the history. Plus, we also have like little red, black, and green flags that will be given out on Saturday as well to signify like black for the people, green for the land, and also prosperity, and then red, of course, for the bloodshed.
When you speak of the bloodshed, you're talking about those the millions of slaves and so forth, and those who died in the battle for freedom.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay. Well, again, I can't thank you enough. It was a great show. You are a fabulous young lady. Continue doing what you're doing, and just keep the faith, keep it going, keep pushing.
And give us those dates one more time.
Yeah, and the locations.
Again, that's June 17th to the 19th. Friday, June 17th, we'll be celebrating a Juneteenth pretty much kickoff block party at Eastern Market Brewing Company. Saturday, we'll be on Livernois Avenue of Fashion between Margarita and 8 Mile, celebrating the Juneteenth Jubilee Stroll. And Sunday, we'll be back in the Eastern Market in Shed 5 for a family-friendly Freedom Fest. So those are the 3 dates, June 17th, 18th, and 19th. And it'll be 2 spots at Eastern Market and 1 on Livernois.
All right. Okay. And there you have it, people. We'd like to thank our guest, Miss Sherea Ayers.
Yes.
And for a very powerful, very knowledgeable, very informative podcast. I think I'd like to say it's one of the best we've done. And we'd like to get you back next year to talk about what you've got coming up then, if that's okay.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
All right.
And there you have it.
All
folks.
righty.
There you have it, folks. This is Keith Butler coming to you from The Hook on the Six Hole Studio. We had a great podcast. I can't tell you how excited I am about this one. Our guest was fabulous. My co-host, Jeffrey Lowe. He's the man as always. We'd like to thank you for listening and stay strong. Get out, celebrate Juneteenth. Have a good time. Be safe. And remember,
Hey,
when they ask you where you got it from,
that's right. Hey, tell them that you heard it on the